Whether getting bangs or getting rid of bangs, it's crazy how much a few inches of hair over someone's forehead can change everything. Just look at these celebs and see if you notice anything different. Think of a celeb with bangs and chances are an image of Zooey Deschanel will pop into your head. The New Girl and 500 Days of Summer actor has had her signature thick set of bangs for years, and when they change, she looks like a completely different person.
Your hair looks so different.
We'll get used to it, boys.
Think we're exaggerating? When she went sans bangs at the Met Gala in 2013, a lot of people legitimately didn't recognize her. She told BuzzFeed that she couldn't believe the response, but thought it was all pretty funny. Then there are roles like Elf, where Deschanel is almost unrecognizable for a few seconds until it clicks. But for the most part, Deschanel tends to stick with the forehead warmers. As she told Bustle, "I just feel more like myself when I have them. It's a part of my identity." Not too far behind Deschanel is Dakota Johnson, who rarely steps out in public without a thick, full fringe. The 50 Shades of Grey star has had luxurious bangs for almost as long as we can remember, but some of her roles do require her to show some skin. Forehead skin, that is. For instance, in The Social Network, she's practically unrecognizable without her famous bangs. The same goes for her appearance in The Office or Suspiria, or any other role that had her change up her hairstyle. Yeah, it's obviously still her, but there's no denying that she looks entirely different without her usual eyebrow shaders. Johnson's hair is typically styled by Mark Townsend, and in 2022, he shared with Vogue how he gives her perfect fringe, saying, "You have to start with very wet bangs. Dakota has a strong cowlick, so I hold the blow dryer directly over her bangs and blow them straight down, using just my fingers at first and roughing up the root a little bit. That's a heck of a process to get some bangs, but nobody ever said beauty was easy." You can thank a lot of Katy Perry's early music videos for— wait, sorry, that's Zooey Deschanel again. There, that's better. So like we were saying, Katy Perry's been through so many bang phases that's the image that's been burned into a lot of people's memories. In the aughts, she used to rock heavy, blunt bangs a lot of the time. By 2010, she was switching it up with Betty Page-inspired bangs that went with her aesthetic at the time. Cutesy kitsch with vintage vibes. It became a defining part of some of her most famous looks, including the lightning blue hair Perry rocked at the 2010 MTV Movie Awards. The point is, Perry has rocked hundreds of hairstyles over the years, but her bangs will always be the most Katy Perry she'll ever get. And comparing that look to any of her others gives you a totally different impression of the singer.
What has been your favorite and least favorite hairstyle you've ever worn? My least favorite was definitely when I had bangs.
Sometimes it's not getting rid of bangs that makes someone nigh unrecognizable. Sometimes it's showing up unexpectedly with bangs. That's what happened to Kim Kardashian in 2023 when she showed up to a gala in LA and just about everyone who saw the pic said, "Who dat?" This isn't the first time Kardashian has experimented with bangs, but it's such a rare occasion that even she's had trouble remembering when it happened. In 2019, she chatted with her stylist Chris Appleton for Gay Times, who reminded her that he had once given Kardashian bangs during a trip to Paris. Her response was, "You gave me bangs?" Bangs definitely transform Kardashian's look, and by the sounds of things, she's not usually a fan. She also reminisced about a time when she was getting styled before a photo shoot for Vogue Japan and decided to go with bangs, although fortunately for her, she didn't have to live with the look for long.
I think it was fake.
She's not wrong. Talking about that photo shoot, she said, "We spent so much time putting on a wig, cutting it, and doing the whole thing, and as soon as we were walking out the door, we were like, this is so bad." Cara Delevingne is another celebrity who we usually see with long hair swept away from her forehead. But in May 2025, she showed up at Cannes looking like an entirely new human, with a coal black cut draped over her shoulders and an uneven fringe cradling her cranium. Everyone at the event was doing a double take. For everyone used to seeing her straight blonde locks, the look was almost shocking. That said, it's not the first time she's experimented with bangs. In 2023, for instance, she appeared at a benefit with a choppy, shaggy fringe and matching bob. Delevingne also switched up her look with a thick fringe during a runway show for Emilio Pucci in 2013. That same year, she sported a super short, choppy micro fringe at a show for Marc Jacobs at New York Fashion Week. Don't worry, a lot of these were wigs. After seeing all these looks over the years, it's safe to say that bangs completely transform her face in the best way. We all remember Nina Dobrev from the Vampire Diaries days, and we all also remember that Elena never once had bangs. In 2023, the actor made the bold move to get a new set of heavy eyebrow-grazing bangs, courtesy of stylist Mark Townsend. The celebrity hairstylist posted a series of images of the new look, which was done for the premiere of the Netflix film The Outlaws. She looked so different with the new hairstyle that one fan even commented on his post, "For a moment, I thought it's Lily Collins." Dobrev also posted on Instagram writing, writing simply, chop chop. Of course, even though Dobrev looks undeniably chic with her new trim, she wasn't afraid to get real about the reality of life with bangs.
I woke up this morning and thought to myself, whose idea was it for me to get bangs?
Speaking of Lily Collins, the actress got a famous chop in 2022 when she debuted a brand new set of bangs for season 3 of Emily in Paris. In the show, Emily cuts her own bangs in a moment of angst.
Emily, no!
However, in real life, Collins' new trim was less of a spur-of-the-moment decision. She posted an Instagram video showing her front strands getting severed by a professional. She wrote in the caption, "Not exactly trauma bangs. Unlike Emily, I didn't cut these myself." We don't need to tell you that the look was a major departure from Collins' styles in the past, but apparently Collins ended up being a big fan of her new look. She gushed to glamour. There's a sass to them. They also do really well in humidity. There's a little Frenchness to it that I like, so I think I will keep them for a while. That's a weird way to put it, but hey, if it works, it works. Lupita Nyong'o is another star whose hair can completely transform her look. Although she usually goes for shorter styles or swept back looks, in 2019 she covered her forehead with a new set of short bangs while attending the 11th annual Governor's Awards. She paired the chic bangs with an elegant updo and a pair of drop earrings. Nyong'o's bangs were short-lived. Over the years, she's preferred to opt for styles that show off her natural hair texture. She told Net-a-Porter, "There's been a whole revolution led by African America for sure, where we are embracing our natural hair texture and returning to a past glory." Now, Nyong'o has a hairstylist who helps her recreate traditional looks with a modern spin. So who knows? We may see another version of bangs on her in the years to come. Bella Hadid usually goes for a slick look with her hair, but in 2022, she switched things up with long, ultra-wispy bangs that were the epitome of what Lily Collins might call French girl chic.
We're giving old school fashion, we're giving randomness.
Suffice it to say, she looked completely different. They were fake bangs, but that's not the point. Sophie Turner is best known for her performance in Game of Thrones as Sansa Stark. Even though she's naturally blonde, she became instantly recognizable in her stark red hair. But what about with stark red bangs? Surprisingly, not as much. When the actor made the bold decision to cut bangs into her long red locks in 2022, we all did a double take. As her stylist, Christian Wood, told Glamour, Turner was always up for a big hair change. He said, "Sophie in particular, she's one of my favorite girls because she'll trust me with anything. And I'll be like, okay, now we're doing a bang." And she's like, "Sure, no problem." Luckily, Wood knows how to style bangs, largely thanks to being taught by none other than Jennifer Lopez. No wonder Turner was so willing to let him try such a bold new style. The daughter of supermodel Cindy Crawford, Kaia Gerber usually makes appearances with long, sleek hair, but on those rare occasions when she does show up in bangs, she's nearly unrecognizable. When she debuted a shaggy fringe in 2021 with long bangs that reached all the way down to her eyes, covering her eyebrows, it was a radical change for the young model. The do was inspired by a classic shaggy 70s look, and for once, people could actually tell her and her mom apart. Hairstylist Gustave Fauché broke down the look and offered some pointers for anybody trying to achieve the same style, telling Vogue, "Be sure you ask your hairdresser to ensure they keep the fringe slightly longer, with a little layering through the bottom to create that long, soft, and sexy effect. You'll get the best results if that hairdresser is based in Paris or Milan. Then you'll need to trim your hair every 3 to 4 weeks if you plan on imitating this bold bangs look. And if you don't want to look like you dunked your head in a McDonald's deep fryer, stick to a lightweight mousse, just enough to give it some texture without making it look greasy." And the final, most important step to looking like Kaia Gerber, have Cindy Crawford as a mom. Selena Gomez showed off a fuzzy crop of bangs in 2008, but after that it was almost always more conservative styles. When she did trim her hair into bangs, they tended to be longer and swept aside, not the full frontal fringe she made famous through her many 2008-era Disney Channel bumpers. But now and then over the decades, she did resurrect the look in ways that made her look nearly unrecognizable. In 2018, she stepped out with a thin fringe at New York Fashion Week. The classic bangs look featured long, wispy strands and longer pieces on the edges. Of course, that's not the first time Gomez has experimented with bangs in recent years. Even though Gomez clearly enjoys playing with new looks, she has a pretty low-maintenance routine when it comes to her hair. She told Allure, "I don't wash my hair every day, which may sound gross, but it's actually really bad for my hair. I give my mom and my dad all the credit because I have thick hair, so it gets better the less I wash it." How long does she go between washes? Sometimes up to 4 days. With or without bangs, that's dedication. Of course, it also doesn't hurt to get a little help.
What's your secret to luxuriant looks?
Extensions.
Oh!
So yeah.
Maybe it's because of the roles she takes, or maybe it's natural, but Lily James exudes a classic style when she's on the screen. So maybe it shouldn't have been such a surprise when she stepped out onto the red carpet at the Met Gala in 2023 looking for all the world like one of the legends of classic cinema, Audrey Hepburn. Well, the leather dress was a modern touch, but the micro bangs were on point. James isn't a total stranger to sporting bangs on the silver screen, but most people probably picture her in the golden blonde waves of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, or the 2015 live-action version of Cinderella, so it was certainly a head-turner to see her in a dark brown fringe.
Having a great time!
While these micro bangs may not have been real, they certainly made an impression and completely transformed James's face. It's yet another reminder that bangs really can turn you into a shapeshifter. Jennifer Aniston is known for her hair. We all remember the famous Rachel layered bob that dominated salons throughout the 90s, but although Aniston's famous hair doesn't usually include a fringe, she's had one in a few roles over the years. In 2015, she sported a wispy fringe in the film The Yellow Birds, and the look completely transformed her face. In 2023, she also wore sideswept bangs for the film Murder Mystery 2. It turns out, if you go way back in time to her pre-Friends days, you'll see that Aniston originally had a completely different look, with brown hair and a super wispy set of bangs. Apparently, her hairstylist, Chris McMillan, was responsible for encouraging Aniston to grow out her bangs in favor of the famous Rachel cut, and she's rarely looked back since. If you're talking about bang transformations, you can't forget about Blake Lively's raggedy, dirty blonde mop for 2020's The Rhythm section. If you went into the movie without knowing anything about who was involved, it might have been a while before you recognized Blake Lively under that tangle of bangs. She pulled off several hair looks in the movie, none of which come anywhere close to the way she styles her hair in real life. It's, a movie, so that makes sense. But it's still a drastic change because off the screen, and in most of her movies actually, everyone's used to seeing her with her famous long curls. After all, it suits her. As Rod Ortega, her stylist, told Refinery29, they tend to stick with tighter curls rather than the more popular flat iron waves, which he calls lazy waves. He said, way back when hairstyling was about complementing the person's face shape, their body shape, etc. It used to be about asking what works for this person. Now it's about what's on trend. By the sounds of things, they've found a look that works for her, and it isn't bangs.
I just hate to see wasted potential.
Okay, let's keep this one grounded in reality. Swifties would recognize Taylor Swift on the street wearing anything short of a full-body hazmat suit. Bangs, no bangs, a bald cap, it wouldn't matter a bit. But there was a brief moment in Swift history where those bangs were a little disorienting. When Taylor Swift stormed onto the country music scene, it was with a riot of princessy golden curls. But when she transitioned from her Speak Now era to her Red era, she also went through one of her biggest style changes. Red was the album that left critics wondering if she was putting Nashville in the rearview mirror. And months before its release, a defining moment in hair history gave the singer a bold new look to match her new musical direction. In 2011, a day before she turned 22, Swift agreed to chop off a chunk of her hair for a Vogue photo shoot.
So I have bangs now.
In a behind-the-scenes video, Swift said she had a discussion with the magazine's glam team about possibly rocking some faux fringe for the pictorial, but she said, nah, grab the scissors. However, the move was premeditated. Swift had already been considering filling in that blank space on her forehead with some keratin curtains. She told HuffPost around the same time, I wanted to change my look a little bit, and I've loved the way that bangs look on other people. Lovers have come and gone since she made the change, but Swift's bangs have remained. Taylor Swift's ex-tour mate Sabrina Carpenter also has some pretty iconic T-zone trim, but the style most closely associated with her is curtain bangs. The do was popular in 2024, which might be because everyone was obsessed with the Feather Singer's face-framing wings. Carpenter loves a good throwback fit, so the hairstyle certainly suits her aesthetic. But all of you who grew up watching Carpenter on Girl Meets World in the 2010s will remember that she was fringe-free back in the day. But like so many before her, she decided it was time for a change after going through a rough breakup.
I literally cut my bangs because someone broke my heart, and I was just like, I have to do something.
She said that for her first real heartbreak, going for a bold change made a huge difference. She clearly decided that the new look worked for her, and curtain bangs have been a major part of her look ever since. Carpenter's own hairstylist, Scott King, told Fashionista that he uses a Velcro roller to give her bangs their signature springy curl, saying that's what makes it fluffy. Nicole Kidman arguably had one of Hollywood's best hair moments as a wispy-banged witch with a tragic love life in the 1998 movie Practical Magic, and she sported a similar look in the HBO series Big Little Lies as another unlucky-in-love character. Kidman conjured up those bewitching bangs again just weeks before Halloween in October 2025, but this time with blonde waves instead of a cascade of sleek red tresses. Given that she and Keith Urban had recently decided to close the book on their 19-year marriage, many fans assumed that Kidman was rocking a breakup hairstyle when she showed up to Paris Fashion Week with her new fringe. Kidman's PC tapered bangs were sharpened into fine points, creating the perfect golden frame for her face. Her hairstylist said that his inspiration for the look was Practical Magic and Jane Birkin. The result? Sheer magic.
I kind of just presented it to Nicole, and that's how amazing Nicole is. Nicole is like, oh, you love that? Let's do it.
Remember the hullabaloo when Michelle Obama got bangs in 2013? Pepperidge Farm remembers. They were immortalized in her official portrait when her husband got reelected as president, and for about 15 minutes it was all anybody was talking about.
We were willing to try anything, so we borrowed one of Michelle's tricks.
It was a strong, bold look, but she herself admitted that they had started to get annoying after a while.
They're starting to grow out, get a little irritating, but it's okay. It's okay.
Ultimately, the reason they had to go was purely practical. She told Parade that August, it's hard to make speeches with hair in your face. Tyra Banks believes that letting her forehead shine was instrumental in helping her become a supermodel. She said during a 2016 Tyra Beauty event that her first modeling agency only signed her because her forehead made her stand out from the crowd, which was also the reason she was having trouble signing to other agencies.
She cute, but she got a big forehead.
But even though it launched her career, she's covered her moneymaker with bangs every now and then over the years. One of the many hairstyles she sported as a living doll in the 2000 movie Life Size included some blunt-cut bangs that hit just below the eyebrow. She wore them a tiny bit longer for Freeform's Up Fronts event in 2017. The ends of her thick fringe were slightly textured, and her hair color, a rich walnut with subtle highlights, gave her bangs a little more dimension. She also occasionally rocked bangs on America's Next Top Model, but perhaps she hasn't stuck with the style because she truly does love showing off every bit of her forehead, which she affectionately refers to as her five-head. It seems like every time Kristen Stewart goes out in public, she has a radically different hairstyle. Short, long, non-existent, she's gone through so many hair changes that it's impossible to pin down any single one as her regular haircut. But the one style that transforms her face probably more than anything is when she has bangs. For the 2024 movie Love Lies Bleeding, her hair was lopped off and styled in a mussed mullet with greasy, tousled bangs. Not only was that Stewart's real hair, but she actually gave herself the haircut. After filming was finished, she even kept doing it for a while. She told AP, "I was so addicted to cutting my hair after we made the movie, I couldn't stop, just like blunt fronting my bangs." Stewart was still rocking those baby bangs at the Los Angeles premiere of Love Lies Bleeding. Her choppy, uneven fringe was styled to create several gaps on her forehead. It's a look that would be hard for most people to pull off, but it had a DIY punk rock quality that really worked for Stewart. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence that she had a similar blunt bang style in another 2024 movie, Sacramento. It was definitely a year of bangs for Stewart. You could argue that Anne Hathaway is the patron saint of makeover moments in movies.
My granddaughter, Amelia.
When we watched her transform into royalty in the 2001 film The Princess Diaries, she traded frizzy curls for a deep side part and a voluminous blowout. 5 years later, she naturally had to get bangs when her The Devil Wears Prada character was given a makeover worthy of working for Miranda Priestly, an analog of fashion industry icon Anna Wintour. Andy's new look included some thick fringe that was the perfect length to get brushed by her eyelashes whenever she blinked. Like many celebs, Hathaway likes to bring her bangs back on occasion. She was actually seated beside Wintour when she sported some slightly shaggier bangs with a high pony during New York Fashion Week in 2022. 2 years later, she lightened her follicular load a tad for the 2024 Film Independent Spirit Awards with a feathery fringe. Her hairstylist told Glamour he was going for something that felt just super relaxed and very 70s, like undone Jane Birkin. Mission accomplished. He also shared how he got her bangs to curl under at the ends so elegantly, revealing that it started with a rough dry. "I then took a big round brush and blow dried the bangs first, tucking them under to add softness to the ends," he explained.